Hi everyone, it's Dr. Jeff here today. Today we're actually talking about scoliosis. What is scoliosis? Well, if you look at someone from the side, if you look at Rachel here, we actually have a neck curve, we have a mid-back curve, and we have a low back curve. And from the side, those are the curvatures you're supposed to have. When you look at someone from the back, you'll see that the spine is supposed to be straight. And what scoliosis is when this deviates from side to side like this. Years ago, the public health would come into the schools and actually do a scoliosis checkup with the kids in the schools, but they haven't done that for a number of years now, so nobody's actually checking the health of your spine. So one way you can do this at home is checking out your kids' curvature, their backs, is by actually checking things. And usually, we don't find these things until about grade 8, because that's when the girls, and it's more dominant girls versus boys, about 8-to-1 in ratio, that the girls buy the first really nice dress and they find that the strap keeps falling off the side because the one shoulder is lower. And that's usually when we discover that your children have a scoliosis. So one way you can check it, just coming in, and what you're going to do is you're going to check the height of a shoulder. You can see Rachel here has a lower left shoulder than the right shoulder. All right? They should be the even height. So check that. The next thing you want to go down to is check out where the bottom of the shoulder blades are. You can see Rachel's left one is just a little bit lower than her right. The next place you want to go to is actually checking her hip. So if you go on the top of those big hip bones, all right, the big iliac crest there, we check that. I have my fingers on there. You can actually see that her left iliac crest is lower than the right. And quite often you have a low shoulder and a low side over here, but she's actually low on the whole left-hand side here. So we can actually make Rachel touch her toes now. If you come in, you can actually see that running down her spine, you can see that she has a bit of a higher hump on this side and a higher hump on this side. So that's telling us that right down here we've got the spine kind of going over here a little bit, then actually reverts back here to go up to her head, because the body's going to try and compensate and actually keep her head between her feet. Okay, you can come up there, Rachel. So that's one way you can actually check on the spinal health of your children, is do a scoliosis check. It only takes a couple minutes to do, and you can see whether or not they have a straight spine. Now, scoliosis itself is painless. You don't know you really have it at all because the body does so much to compensate for it. A small scoliosis is no big deal. All right, once it gets to 20 degrees, 20.5 degrees, that's when we generally have to, you x-ray, you measure on an x-ray, and from that point, you refer out to your orthopedic surgeon. Orthopedic surgeon at 30 degrees will monitor them. At 40 degrees, they'll do surgery. And what they do is they break the back and they put rods down the back to actually straighten the spine. And what they have found, though, is that over the years, those rods will actually break. By the time you're 50, 55, the rods are broken. That's because the body's continuing to try and actually increase the scoliosis. So what we have found is that back in the old day when I went to school, they said that as the twig is bent, so grows the tree, that it's actually something happened when they were younger and the body just compensated for it. Now they actually think it's, we'll turn this way here, Rachel. Now they think it's actually more of a postural issue, that what's happening is the kids actually have a head-forward posture and a bit of a higher shoulder. What happens is they actually then try and lift the shoulder up to try and balance their eyes, to get their eyes. And by having a tilted shoulder, such we saw Rachel had a high right shoulder, they actually create their own scoliosis because of their posture. So now there's actually research going on into correcting posture to correct the scoliosis. So they're using a vibration machine, exercises, a little bit of chiropractic care, to actually correct the scoliosis. So it doesn't really matter how old you are anymore, we can actually correct the scoliosis without having to do surgery. A website you can use for that would be something called clear.net, C-L-E-A-R.net, and that will link you on to where they're doing some research into actually correcting scoliosis through posture. Right? And posture is very important, and scoliosis, as I say, does not actually affect anything, but it doesn't look very good, and as you get older, what will happen as you shrink, your scoliosis gets worse, and then actually will then decrease your cavity space. It leads to heart conditions, shortness of breath, increased flus and colds when you're older. So I'm Dr. Jeff. Thanks for listening today. If there's something you like about this video, share with friends or send me an email.